going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down Friday's 10-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings, FanDuel, and our sponsor, Yahoo. We've got a two-gamer that Kevin Durant is upset, Kevin Durant feels scorned, and Kevin Durant is eviscerating. James Johnson has 4 blocks. Philadelphia is not here to play basketball. There is that. Ryan, how's your night going?
I mean, yeah, they're just cooking. They're just cooking the Nets. I mean, there's nothing else there to it. I don't know how my net's going to go. There's all 50% of the slate has yet to start. So it could go great. It could go really bad. There's only one of two ways. So we'll see if we fall in between. I wouldn't mind taking in between. We'll see. I'll obviously like for a great night, but I have no idea how the night's going to end up going.
Yeah, I ended up watching a lot of college basketball because that game got very uncompetitive very early. We'll see if they come back here in the second half. There's a lot of time. The NBA, a 24-point deficit when you have James Harden and Joel Embiid is different than a 24-point deficit when you don't. So I will say, wouldn't be crazy surprising, but it just looks like a game that is just going sideways. Kyrie Irving on Matisse Thybulle too. That is weird that that's not panning out. 72-51 is what it ended up being at halftime there. So 21-point spread. We'll see how that ends up panning out here throughout the show. But hit that like button, subscribe button, notification on YouTube. You know what to do there. If you have not signed up at Yahoo, we'll talk about them a little bit later, but you want to sign up using the code in the description box below. That will go a long way for you to get that free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Also helps out the Slate Starter because, again, we want people to know that they're watching this, signing up from this. So we would appreciate if you would do that with us here. And if you're listening to us, you're not watching, that'd be weird, on Spotify or Apple, definitely those 5-star reviews. That goes a very, very long way for us. If you do anything to help out Ryan and myself do these shows every single night for the rest of the regular season, and hey, maybe the postseason, just saying, these are things that can happen. You got to leave those 5-star reviews. Goes a long way for us. So Ryan, we've got 10 games to talk to. You also have New Orleans to attend to this week and have fun at the DraftKings Live Final, hanging out with all the boys. Very, very jealous. Would be awesome to be there. But you ready to get into this 10-gamer, my lovely plaid-laden friend?
Let's ride.
It's a great shirt. Luka Doncic, $12,000. DeJounte Murray, $11,000. Different disparity there. Luka gets Houston. It's good to play Houston in fantasy basketball. DeJounte Murray's $11K against Utah. Less fun to play Utah in fantasy basketball, but DeJounte Murray, as consistent as it possibly gets, high 30s minutes. Puts up stats in every single category, triple-double contender every single time out on the floor. Wouldn't surprise me against Utah if he got there. John Morant, 10-8. That's the most expensive tag that we've seen on him all season long, and it's against the Knicks. So that's going to be a very contrarian spot to land. He still has upside at home playing for Memphis here. Still, I believe Dylan Brooks is not back. I saw news about him today that he was kind of nearing a return of some kind, but I don't believe that he's going to be back here. He's got the Q tag next to him. He's still doubtful for Friday. All right, so that's good. Saw a news blurb about him, so wanted to touch on that. But rounding out the guard position, Trae Young is up there at 10-1 against the Clips. Darius Garland's at 9K. He's been eviscerating slates, but he gets a very difficult Miami matchup. But Devin Booker is kind of the guy that I think at 8,900 is going to be crazy popular on DraftKings. Probably the go-to dude at the guard position. Do you agree with me? And talk to me about the rest of the guard position on DraftKings.com.
10-game slate. Obviously, let's see if any of some of these teams are going to be a front end of a back-to-back just because of the natural instincts of so many teams playing on a Friday night. So we'll see. Looking at who, if any, pending news, but looking at the guard spot, obviously up top, we got the likes of Luka. Luka priced 12K versus Houston. Houston's just a gold mine for players this season, and I expect Luka to eat. Looking around here, John Morant, Trae Young. I like Trae Young at 10-1. To John Morant savings, I think you can do a lot with. But DeJounte Murray at 11K continues to just be a monster all season long. And then in the next year, we got the likes of Booker and Mitchell. I like D-Book. As long as Chris Paul isn't there, D-Book should shoot the ball close to 30 times a game. It just makes the most sense. And if 30 times a game, he's honestly, I want to say, $1,500 too cheap for this type of role he's put on. We see Darius Garland light it up of late. I want to shy away a little bit just because of the situation against Miami. Miami is not the most friendliest outcome. LaMelo Ball versus New Orleans, I have a ton of interest. I actually will be attending that game. So
What?
we shall see
Oh my.
how LaMelo Ball feasts against the shorthanded
Well, you
Pelicans
saw
team.
that McCollum's out for health and safety
Mhm.
protocols, right?
Yep.
Okay,
So I
that's a
will
bummer.
get to see Devonta Graham just shoot the ball 100 times.
You're gonna have 100% of this idiot. It's not gonna be fun.
Devonta Graham, Jose Alvarado, all these guys are just going to chuck the ball. We'll see. Looking around here, Jalen Suggs, 5,200 is pretty outstanding value against Minnesota. And Jordan Clarkson, he'll have a game at some point. Sub 5K, I like targeting Clarkson against this disappointing San Antonio team. And also, Killian Hayes is out. Corey Joseph, I think, should be in play. $3,900. We saw them play Saban Lee a decent amount last game, but Corey Joseph, sub 4K, can find ways to pay off that price tag. I know it's a 10-game slate. I'm just looking for a guy sub 4K around here.
Yeah, so we got news that Patrick Beverley is going to be in, so that's good. But here's the Minnesota situation again. Anthony Edwards, questionable. Jared Vanderbilt, questionable. That's the very first game of the slate. You're going to know exactly what you're going to want to do with it. Yeah, I'm going to want to have some late swap opportunities there later in the day, especially knowing that all the big boppers on DraftKings.com are going to be attending a Pelicans game and might not have full access to be able to late swap the way that they might not normally. So I think I'm okay with that. I'm playing the game theory of the people in attendance of a Pelicans game. How does that sound, Ryan?
Attendance of the Pelicans game?
Yeah, I hope for late news because I'll be the only person able to respond to it.
I don't think you'll be the only person to be able to.
You're going to bring your laptop?
No, I don't think I might just not even play the slate. I may actually enjoy a basketball game.
It's a terrible idea. You'll enjoy it more if you win 100K.
That'd be nice, but we'll see.
Man, I really have nothing else to add there. Just pay attention to news because there's going to be a lot of it. It's a 10-game slate. You know the deal. It's going to look very different, but for the most part, Devin Booker gets the stamp of approval. Do you have a feel about Devontae Graham? That feels like good chalk, right?
Yeah, there's no Brandon Ingram. There's no CJ McCollum. There's Devonta Graham. Obviously, Nikhil Alexander-Walker has been gone. It's a feast for Devonta Graham. If Devonta Graham doesn't get there tomorrow, well, fuck. I just like
to FanDuel. DeJounte Murray 10-8. That's the greatest quote in the history of the NBA Slate Star podcast. Luka Doncic is 10-7. He's actually cheaper against Houston. That's silly. John Moran 10-1. Trae Young 9,700 there. Darius Garland's all the way down to 8,400 against Miami. That's the kind of stuff I like to see is when you have to kind of make these decisions. Donovan Mitchell, I was in love with against Portland, and then I realized that it was against Portland. At least I bet a 19-point spread. That worked out well because Portland is abysmal. We'll just put it that way and kind of move on with our day. What sticks out to you at the point guard and shooting guard position over on FanDuel, Ryan?
Yeah, over here on FanDuel, it's Luka at 10-7. You're getting him at a discount, $100 cheaper than DeJounte Murray. Like Luka straight up, honestly. John Moran's still in play 10-1 here. I'd rather save a bunch of money and fall on the guys like of a Darius Garland, 8,400. Garland, I think, is still in play against Miami. Remember, there's no Jared Allen there. Not that Jared Allen's a big usage guy, but we saw how effective Garland was in the pick and roll two-man game with Evan Mobley. Just more room to operate in the paint with Allen not clogging it up. Trae Young, 9,700 versus the Clippers, I think is fine to go to. We haven't seen an explosion Trae Young game in a minute. It feels like he's just been consistent all year long, which is good. It's just not too bad to look at that. Now looking down here, LaMelo Ball, $7,500. That's too damn cheap for LaMelo Ball. Fred VanVleet on the other side of things. I like a decent amount as well. Russ Westbrook, 7,600 is now priced appropriately. I want to shy away a little bit. I know it's a Washington spot. I'd rather save that money on a guy like D'Angelo Russell or a Cade Cunningham. We saw Jalen Green have a career game. Time to shy away. I think Jalen Green going career game back-to-back days is unlikely, but this sets up for the likes of Devonta Graham, Jose Alvarado, 4,300, 3,900. This makes a ton of sense to fall there. Mike Conley's 5K if you're looking for a guy. Donovan Mitchell's outstanding at $8,200. Shooting guard over there on FanDuel. Similar guys, Devonta Graham has point guard, shooting guard. It'll be very, very popular. Anthony Edwards, questionable. He's been disappointing. 6,400. I've been chasing it. It's been burning me. I'm going to have to chase it again. It just makes a ton of sense just to chase Chase Anthony Edwards at that $6,400 price tag. Sub 8K Jimmy Butler. If he were to go, I think we got to have interest. That's really cheap for Jimmy Butler. We haven't seen Jimmy Butler price like that since I believe he was in Philly, maybe. It's been a long time since we've seen Jimmy Butler price like that. Evan Fournier, $4,200. I like. I know the minutes are a little more solidified. No Cam Reddish there. Still injuries for this team. No D Rose. Fournier, I think, should be able to link up to high 20s, low 30s minutes. Just need him to have a good day shooting from outside, and he'll find a way to random peripherals a little more than you expect for a guy like Evan Fournier. So at 4,200, he makes for a great Devonta Graham pivot. I don't mind if you play them together, but it makes a ton of sense to go to a Evan Fournier, I think, tomorrow.
Like it a lot. Sad, Jalen Green. He's a guy I've been massively overweight to in tournaments for a while. Rookies, you kind of expect the usage to go up in situations where there's nothing to play for. He's still going to get the run. But you're probably right. 6,500, that's a big number there for him. Yeah, you needed all of that Houston Lakers game the other night on FanDuel. Let's head over to Yahoo. Luka, 56. DeJounte Murray, 50. Ja Morant, 45. Nice little tiered structure there. That looks much more appropriate. Yahoo, well done, considering I don't know how DeJounte Murray is $100 more than FanDuel, but I guess there's some game theory that can be there. But Luka, 56, that's where he should be. Devin Booker, 43, will be probably the most owned guard, I would say, on the entire slate still. Shooting guard only there. The opportunity cost is pretty small, I would say, at that position. Terry Rozier, $33. He's been playing fantastic, but as you said, I think LaMelo might be the guy I'm kind of siding with a little bit more here. Paying attention to news, all things considered, there's a lot that is still going to happen here. I guess Patrick Beverley at $18 has got to be at least mentioned, although it's not that enticing as a piece of value on a 10-game slate. What sticks out to you here, Ryan, for our sponsor, Yahoo?
Looking at Yahoo, I mean, Yahoo's done a great job all week of just great pricing. There's up top, we got Luka. Luka's expensive, $5,600. You have to nail a lot of value to get him up, even on a 10-game slate. It makes a lot of sense to go to Ja Morant, 45. DeJounte Murray is also expensive at 50. Booker's probably appropriately priced here, $4,300. It makes a ton of sense to even fall on. I think he's priced a little too cheap. I think he should be in the high 40s just because of how much volume and usage he's getting. Donovan Mitchell priced really well. Him and LaMelo Ball I like a lot, 36, 35 respectively, as do Van Vliet. So this mid-tier here is phenomenal. Even Garland falls in there. I like this mid-tier a lot. Cade Cunningham's priced a little bit up. I like Jaylen Brown in a Detroit spot, $30. Makes a ton of sense. Russell Westbrook, he's priced well here. I think it's time to shy away from a $27 Tyler Hero if Jimmy Butler were to return. Reggie Jackson has had a quiet game last time. Is it not quiet? It was good. It wasn't great. $26 here. And looking at some value options at the bottom, Devonta Graham, $11. Jose Alvarado, $10. I mean, that's it. I can't really advocate for other plays than those two guys. I mean, they're going to have to play 30-plus minutes. I know Devonta Graham's minutes seem a bit more safer than Alvarado, but they're going to share the court together. Alvarado can handle the ball, can pick up peripheral defensive stats. Very decent. He was a very good defender in college. Kind of undersized in the NBA. Has had a great story, but I think he's going to have to play a handful of minutes, a lot of minutes tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, I also get worried Tony Snell's going to play 40 minutes tomorrow. I just get that feeling. It's not a good feeling. I know Jordan Klein's going to be excited to roster that idiot for 20 points, but, it is what Tony Snell, I take that back. I will never say that about Tony Snell. I think he's a decent NBA player, the most horrific NBA fantasy player that there's ever been, maybe ever.
I don't know, man. I think Semi Ojeleye, that guy's pretty annoying.
He is not ideal. What is ideal? Playing over at our sponsor, Yahoo. Get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum by depositing $10 or more, playing in any paid contest, and taking advantage of this promotion to get every single thing we offer behind the paywall. That's not just NBA, but NCAA tournament projections. Oh, you're going to want those. Matt Kajewski, our boy behind the scenes, does amazing work in the college basketball streets. Get those projections now. You're going to have MMA. That seems to be just everybody is playing MMA, DFS nowadays. NHL is in full swing. You've got the PG literally in full swing. Check it all out over on Yahoo. The best place to play per dollar, lowest rake of any site you're going to find in the industry, best contest sizing. It is phenomenal to play over there. You will really enjoy it if you try it out. So do it. $10 or more, play in any paid contest to get that free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Thank you so much to them for their sponsorship of the NBA Slate Starter podcast. And do not forget, sign up in the link below. It's in the video description below. Simply click on the link, go sign up there and take advantage of this offer now. All right, to the forward spot over on DraftKings we go. LeBron 11-8, Jason Tatum 10-5. A little bit of a disparity that we've got there. But Jason Tatum was just incredible. He looked really nice on FanDuel the other day. He's still going to look pretty decent on FanDuel. It kind of inflated both of him and LeBron's tag a little bit, but they had room to move up. LeBron 11-8, questionable, and now we actually have to be on high alert for this kind of stuff because for the first time ever, he actually got ruled out. So be watching the news there. Julius Randle, Pascal Siakam, Kyle Kuzma, all of them very overpriced for their roles in their situations. Definitely going to be tournament darts. You have a sub 9K Jimmy Butler there who's questionable, sat out last game, but you had talked about him going to look nice on FanDuel. DraftKings, maybe less so at 8,700, but now this next tier of guys, it's kind of fascinating. You get Jaylen Brown, 8,200, kind of a straight up pivot off of his own teammate there, Jason Tatum. If he outperforms him fantasy wise, which is definitely in the realm, you could have a lot of leverage by saving that money. RJ Barrett has played really consistent basketball of late, and a guy that I think on different sites have been rostering a little bit above expectation, and now he's no longer 8,200. He's 7,900, so I feel good about that. And Cade Cunningham, we got to expect that he's going to be a guy that maybe benefits just high 30s minutes here. He's going to be the guy going forward. As you said, no Killian Hayes, so probably more ball handling. I mean, he's the main ball handler as is, but I kind of like this little section of 7,500 to 8,200. I think it's kind of a little bit enticing over on DraftKings. Ryan, what sticks out to you over on this site?
Yeah, looking at the forward spot on DK up top, we do get a LeBron James 11-8. They're not in must-win mode just because the Pelicans are really going to struggle without McCollum and Ingram for the next 10 days. But I think they're fine just to be in the playing game. It's going to be tough for them to get out of the playing game at this point. So LeBron James 11-8, yeah, can he be the highest scorer player on the slate? Definitely. Jason Tatum has been amazing. He's been locked in as ever 10-5. I think he might win Player of the Week this week just because of how well he's been playing. Looking down a little bit more, Julius Randle, $9,800. I like a decent amount just because I think he's trying to carry this team on his back. It's just him and Barrett who's trying to will them into the potential Eastern Conference playing game. It's going to be tough for that team. Both them and the Hawks have been pretty disappointing this season. Siakam, 9,300, I like a lot. He's going to be very low-owned, I think. Kuzma, 8,800, taking on a Lakers team. He's going to be smiling at them a lot because I'm sure they'd like to redo that trade maybe at this point. But $8,800 Kuz, you can have some interest. A lot of fun narrative there. Other guys who stick out up top, just looking around at what sticks up here. Not many other guys up top. John Collins, sub 6K. I like a lot. And then $8,200 Jaylen Brown's fine. It could be the Jaylen Brown game instead of the Jason Tatum game. Obviously against Detroit, he could definitely get there. And not in three quarters, $8,200 is more likely to get paid off in three quarters than a 10-5 if there is a blowout against Detroit. Spending down here. In New Orleans, you get the forward options of Jackson Hayes, 4,700, Najee Marshall, 3,300, and Trey Murphy, a guy who's a very talented rookie. He's the min 3K. I like going to Trey Murphy tomorrow. I think on the 10-game slate, he might have some ownership, maybe a little depressed ownership than he should be just because he's kind of an unknown play. But 3K is 3K, and I like going to Trey Murphy.
Love that call. He was definitely a guy on my radar. Najee Marshall, 3,300. Herbert Jones and Jackson Hayes, I think, are going to garner the attention. Tony Snell, I'm really worried that he plays just like 35 minutes tomorrow. I said it's just not going to be fun, but he's not viable, right? We just can't do that. Never Snell.
I wouldn't say never Snell, just because on this slate, it's not intriguing, but Snell can shoot the ball from the outside. You never know. 5 threes, 5 rebounds. You're there.
To FanDuel we go. LeBron James, 10-9.
There's a price tag to it, right?
Exactly. That's true.
And they're a shorthanded team.
Yep.
No, they're not super shorthanded. They're just missing their two big
35 minutes. If he puts up 0.7 fantasy points per minute, that's over 20. You know what I mean?
Like, there's a path there to contain Miles Bridges.
Yeah, he's going to be on the floor a lot. I've just said that I'm worried about it because I don't want to look at my lineups and see 25% Tony Snell because I've never seen that before. And I can tell you if I have, it didn't go well. I can tell you when it didn't go well. Milwaukee is when it didn't go well. There were a couple times you just had to click the name at 3K and it never transpired into anything good. LeBron 10-9 up at the top there. Jason Tatum 10-4 on FanDuel.com. Kyle Kuzma 9,100, just really overpriced for his situation there. Going further down, Evan Mobley, Julius Randle, Bam Adebayo. If there's no Jimmy Butler, you're getting an 8,600 Bam Adebayo. I know it's a tough Cleveland spot, but I would still have some interest there. We've got Christian Wood there, who's been out the last couple, 8,300, which just leads me to my boy Şengün because for some reason he's still only 5,200. If there's no Christian Wood, that is still way too cheap for him. I'm going to fire up tons of him. Ryan, what sticks out to you over on FanDuel.com?
Yeah, it's up top. Similar guys here. There's LeBron. There's Tatum. Obviously, issues if you fall on one of those guys. 9,100. Kuzma's a little expensive for my liking. He has to put up high 40s in a 10-game slate for you to get there. I really like Jaylen Brown. $7,300 makes a ton of sense to fall there. I think the likes of Tyler Hero is too expensive. Rather save 100 and fall on a guy like Bridges. Looking down a little bit more, Kevin Porter Jr. 6,400. I don't mind. I think him and Anthony Edwards. I gotta prefer Edwards to Edwards straight up. I really like going to Anthony Edwards at 6,400, just because of the potential just bounce back game. I've been chasing it for some time, but he's gonna have to get there. He might have gone there last game if there was not a blowout. Looking around here. Spending down a little bit, I think the likes of Fournier we touched on and Najee Marshall at small forward, no issues there. Power forward Jackson Hayes only 4K. I got to have some interest in Jackson Hayes. They're still going to roll out their double big lineup. $8,100 Siakam going to be very popular, but rightfully so. Sub 9K Randall makes a ton of sense. Robert Williams has power forward center eligibility at 7,700 versus Detroit. Block upside for him helps, especially over there on FanDuel. We saw Kelly Olynyk play well last game at $4,200. It seems like a minute split between him and Marvin Bagley, 5,600. There was a little bit of not foul trouble. Marvin Bagley picked up 3 first half fouls, only missed the last minute or so. And then Olynyk played well in the third quarter where his rotation extended a little bit further. And then Bagley played the last 8 to 10 minutes. In a Boston spot, Marvin Bagley played really, really well last time he played against Boston. I wouldn't mind going to Bagley again, just because if he were to crack 30 minutes, we've seen Bagley put up really good fantasy production in times past. So I wouldn't have any issues playing Bagley at 5,600. He'll be very low on just because of how he burned people last time, and I'm willing to go back even on a 10-game slate.
Yeah, I mean, 5,600 will be contrarian against Boston on FanDuel for sure. DraftKings was where he was extremely popular, a little less so over there on the blue site, but 5,500 on DK. I think actually a better play on FanDuel for tomorrow. That's going to be fascinating. Let's head on over to our sponsor, Yahoo. LeBron 54, Tatum 45, Randall 37. Top end, if you can get up to them, all luxury items there. Tatum looks actually pretty good, but Julius Randle against Memphis, $37. We know the kind of upside he can have there might be interesting. Jaren Jackson Jr. at $24 always sticks out to me. He can foul his way out of your lineups and bust you, but he can also do something like last game when they blew out New Orleans, 24 minutes, 37.6 fantasy points. That's the kind of ridiculousness. If he gets up to that 30-minute mark, you could have a massive outcome at $24. Guy that I like there. Herbert Jones is inflated up to 19. Well done by Yahoo to really be proactive, pricing up some of these guys in this spot. But Jackson Hayes is still cheap, $12, similar to FanDuel where he's 4K. I think that's kind of where I want to take some power forward shots. Ryan, who are some of your favorite plays at forward on Yahoo?
Yeah, looking at the forward spot on Yahoo, it's a bit interesting up here just because of the situation with all the New Orleans value we touched on. Spending up top, I mean, LeBron's fine, and I like the savings on Tatum. Then you get a lot of savings on guys like Anthony Edwards, Kyle Kuzma even. So I'd say there's enough value to get these guys in. I think Wendell Carter Jr. at $28 is going to be low owned. I like it quite a bit at that price tag. But if you're looking for a spending down here, I think the likes of Jackson Hayes, Najee Marshall make a ton of sense. I have no issues if you want to play one of those guys. Herb Jones, 19. I think it's a little too expensive for my liking. I think also considering a Marcus Morris, who was outstanding last game, $18 versus Atlanta. I don't mind. It was nice to see Marcus Morris have that game. DeAndre Hunter is up and down, but $14 a minute should be solid. Bogdan Bogdanovic plays a ton of minutes of late. He is also $21. Yeah, I think they're solid value with New Orleans up top, down at the bottom, but nice mid-tier with the guys, like I said, Randall, even Jimmy Butler and Kuz all stick out here on the forward spot.
All right, to center, quick, efficient. We want to get you guys vaulted into the weekend. We want Ryan to get shipped off to New Orleans, and we all want to, well, Ryan and I want to react to some of this Denver news here with our lineups 39 minutes before that game locks. So we got plenty of time, my friend. Let's round it out. Center spot, top end. LeBron James gets center eligibility on DraftKings. That's fun to see, considering he is a 5 now. That is correct. Karl Anthony Towns, 10-7 there for him. Pascal Siakam, 9,300. Bam, 8,600. Bam, going to be very popular for me if there's no Jimmy Butler, even in a tough Cleveland spot. Not having Jared Allen there. Evan Mobley, he's really good at defense, but the combo of him and Allen together, a lot better for defensive purposes. Pascal Siakam, but I guess power forward eligibility. We talked about him there. Jonas Valanciunas, 7,800 is going to be massively popular against Charlotte. If trying to pivot off of him, there's Rudy Gobert, 7,400, who should probably also gain a lot of attention. He got a glorified rest day, didn't have to do anything against Portland. They were up by infinity at halftime and just coasted. But 8 and 7,200, less appealing now than it has been in a while. He had been in the 6s for a while. Şengün up to 6,200 with the power forward / center eligibility. But I got to ask you, is Steven Adams the greatest center in the history of basketball still, coming off of his 16 fantasy points? I'm going to say no. But is there any reason to even roster this guy ever again?
I think it showed on slates in single game slates.
There we go. Found it. Go ahead. Talk to me about center on DraftKings.
Yeah, I mean, up top, there's LeBron. Karl Anthony Towns is going to be very low on 10-7. He's been playing really, really good basketball for this Minnesota Timberwolves team. I like him. Bam Adebayo, 8,600. It was disappointing without Butler last time out. I don't mind it. Just going back to him, he's going to be pretty low on, but it's going to be tough to go to any of those guys up top when there's Valanciunas with nobody there. Literally nobody there. Valanciunas, $7,800. I don't mind falling to him. Just bouncing around a little bit. Up top, Gobert also is in play. We saw DeAndre Ayton play pretty well last game. I like going to him at $7,200. The mid-tier is pretty nice. If there is no Christian Wood, Alperen Şengün is 6,200. It's not out of play at 6,200 if there's no Wood, just because of how good Alperen Şengün produces fantasy points, even at an elevated $6,200 price tag. Spending down a little bit, Kelly Olynyk is 4,400. He's okay, nothing too exciting. A couple of those Dallas bigs, they're always tough to go to in any sort of confidence, but it's against Houston. Anyone can get there against Houston. And Jackson Hayes, $4,700, deserves a mention.
Big time Jackson Hayes, but better even on FanDuel and Yahoo. We talked about that already. Cat, the most expensive center over on FanDuel, 9,300, kind of a punt by default spot. The next center-only eligible player, Jonas Valanciunas, 7,500, should be crazy popular over there. Gobert, 7,400. A lot of ownership's going to land there, but 7,200 Ayton. I think that's a little bit more in play for me than on DK. Zubats against Atlanta. I know it sounds crazy to roster him at 6,500, but not the most powerful, not the craziest. What am I trying to say? I don't even know. Center is not very good compared to most days on a 10-game slate. That's what I'm going for. I think you'd probably agree. Talk to me about center on FanDuel.
Yeah, center on FanDuel, when you only get one, you got to have a ton of interest in Valanciunas, $7,500. I think Rudy Gobert is an excellent pivot at $7,400 block upside for him. Cat, $9,300. That's cheap for Cat. Those four guys make a ton of sense to fall on. Other guys here, there's a Julius Randle, $8,600. John Collins, $6,200. Power forward center eligible guys. And DeAndre Ayton and Wendell Carter Jr. are fine tournament upside winning guys. So Jakob Poeltl, $7,100. I want to shy away a tad bit. But though it's Valanciunas and Gobert, I mean, those are very cheap price tags for those two guys, I think.
Last spot, Yahoo, our sponsor, Karl Anthony Towns, 44, Pascal Siakam, 35. My favorite, Bam Adebayo, 34. I can't emphasize it enough. Jared Allen out of that rotation for his broken finger is going to matter for the near future here. Get to the playoffs, maybe they'll be okay. But the East is just insane already. They're a year or two away, but it's sad as sad as that might be. It would be nice to see this team with Sexton and Rubio and not having to have to sit LeVert every day. I mean, it would be really fun to see them at a full strength capacity, but we're probably not going to get that here. Jonas Valanciunas, 29 here. Jakob Poeltl, 29. Both of them going to be guys you can land on here as well. But 8 and 28, probably the best spot to go. But my boy Şengün is down there at 19. My favorite center play if you do not get Christian Wood out there. Talk to me about Yahoo. You made Şengün a thing first. I'm not going to steal that from you. I apologize.
Just looking around here on Yahoo. Man, the Nets are cooking the Sixers, and they are up to 30.
29 with 4:40 left in the third quarter. Thanks for coming. Drive home safely. Good thing I'm underweight on Harden. Hey.
He showed up, playoff Harden showed up nice today. He came out just like his playoff self.
It was a game that mattered, and you know what happened? Joel Embiid and James Harden sat and pouted. And now, go hammer Nikola Jokic MVP if you still can, plus 170. This is a damning performance.
He was plus 300 like 3 weeks ago.
I know.
Go
bet Jokic now.
Looking up top, Valanciunas $29. Double center slate potentially here. Guys like Evan Mobley continues to ball out. We haven't mentioned Mobley, but he's priced amazing at $31. Gobert 34, Siakam 35, Cat 44 on a 10-game slate. Any of those guys I said could have put up 50, and double centers. This seems like the way to go. Look, no real reason to spend down. If I were to spend down below Valanciunas, it might be a $19 Zubac or a $28 Robert Williams, but that's it. I cannot really advocate for a $22 Capella or I think a $19 Şengün is in play if there's no Christian Wood, but man, it's just loaded and there's enough value to jam in those guys up top.
That it is. It is not the best center slate, but yeah, Şengün would be my guy too. Ryan, enjoy your trip to New Orleans. We wish you the best in terms of health and happiness down there in a city where there's a lot of stuff that you can get into. Don't do anything that I wouldn't do, my friend, which means you can pretty much do whatever you want. Ryan, any final words for the people?
Yeah, no. The 5-star reviews would be fantastic. We'd love to continue this throughout the playoffs. I do think this show might be even more valuable during the playoffs because of the lack of news, and it'll make a lot of sense for the playoff fan club to come out for the Slate Starter. 5 stars would be great. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that fun stuff. The more numbers we get, the longer the show goes on.
He's Ryan. He's going to go get his mouth washed out with soap. I'm Eric. I'm going to go. I don't have any comeback for that. There's awkward. Just be awkward. Let's get out of here. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Sunday.